Hello everybody, and welcome today to Strength of the Sword 3, an indie game developed by a two-man studio, Ivant Games, for the PlayStation 3. I've played a bit of it so far, and it's pretty cool. Made it to the third level before I got absolutely beat down, so let's check it out and give it a look. It's actually a pretty solid game. Not many people have heard of it. I don't think it did too well when it first came out on PS3. But the makers of this are actually re-releasing an Ultimate Edition for the computer, and it just hit its stretch goals on Kickstarter for a PS Vita and Wii U version. So they also have a stretch goal for an Xbox One and PS4 version. So if this looks like something you want to check out, then I'd recommend hitting up their Kickstarter page, and you can back it and get a copy of the game for as low as $10, which I think is a pretty good deal, because this looks pretty sweet, and they're adding a lot of extra features to the Ultimate Edition coming out. So we'll show you what was all in the original version here that came out, and kind of the gameplay and how it works first, and then get into more details on what they're kind of updating and adding to the new one. So it's kind of a basic brawler type fighting game. You got your move button, and you can dash, so you can go side to side to dodge, and sprint at them. It's called the burst button in the game. And then you have a basic slash attack, a thrusting stab attack, and every now and then it'll go into this kind of stab mode where if you mash it, you just keep stabbing the guy, and then eventually you can release to do a little bit of extra damage before he throws you off. There's a jump button which you can use to kind of get some distance, or you can rush them and do like a leap attack. And then there's also your block button, and if you tap it right and time it, you can parry, leaving them open, and you can combo them right back. And those are the basics of it. Every now and then you'll see the triangle button pop up, and it means, like right there, you can do a finisher on them, which does a fair amount of damage. You got my health meter at the bottom in red. There is my shield gauge in blue, which depletes as you block, so obviously you can't spam it and just stand there forever being invincible. And let's see, what else do we got? Oh yes, when you have multiple enemies here, you can just flip your targets with the L and R1 buttons. And that's pretty much it for the starter level. There's another blue gauge on the bottom there that's kind of blinking. It's like your special move meter, which you can charge up, and then it'll slowly fill one portion at a time, and you use that for like your special combos and things. So one of them, if I can pull off here, is you rush them and you do like a whirling set of attacks, or the leap attacks like that. So they're pretty cool, and here, got the stab combo going, and then it'll start to flash orange when they're about to kick out of it. Get them good. There we go. A couple good hits in there. Now I'll just finish this guy off. And the first few levels are pretty nice because it slowly introduces you to the game and kind of gives you all the mechanics and combos and things. And right here actually is another new thing. You get all these weapons that you can swap out, and thankfully the game kind of pauses when you're flipping through them. So right there I just got some throwing blades, so L2 is your item button, so I can hit that, and it'll whip a knife at the guy. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it's pretty good for staggering him. There we go. And there, see, I went for too long with the stab move, and then he kicked out of it, and I took damage. But if you release right away, then it does a little bit of extra damage to him. So it kind of reminds me actually of the old Punch-Out games that Nintendo used to have, except with swords and goblins and more than one enemy, because you kind of have to watch their attack patterns and pick your moment to strike. Because if you just rush in their sword swinging, you will get absolutely destroyed. And one of the things the developer mentioned about this game, and I think is really cool, is they just give you everything right off the get-go. Like, they'll slowly introduce you to the mechanics and combos, but it's not like level 1 is only basic attack and level 2 is only like dash attack kind of thing. You can use it all from the start, so it's not like you're gaining new moves or equipment or like that. It's actually your skill improving, which makes you better at the game, which I think is pretty sweet. So yeah, as you can see here at the start of each level, you have kind of a weapon select screen. So I'd assume these will unlock as you progress through the story. I haven't gotten far enough to get a new weapon yet. But you have all your stats on the side, like their weight and mobility and the speed and damage they have. So you have your basic sword and basic shield. They're pretty well balanced and pretty effective. And now we get introduced to a new level as well as a new enemy and some new controls and combos. So you can check it out here. We got this giant looking ogre just destroying things. And these little intro videos, they're pretty nice too. And they always got the nice little caption there in the quote. Alright, so let's get to fighting. In the top left there, you can see it's got my new combos, so I can rush in and do a shield bash to stagger him, and then land a couple quick hits, dodge out the way of that. And there, the mana charge, that's what I was doing before. You block and hold up, and then it fills up your special gauge on the bottom. And then, what I can do is, well, first of all, get my face pounded in. And this game, oh, and again, there we go, shook out of that one. This game is actually really cool. It does a lot of like slow motion and special effects. It's like very cinematic and epic looking, and really fun to play. So let's see here. There we go. There's the power slash. 1, 2, and then you gotta hit forward and 3. There we go. And that'll take a chunk out of my mana charge on the bottom, so I'll fill that back up. And this guy shoots out walls of fire too, and you'll see the little yellow exclamation marks will pop up over top of their heads, and that's just kind of a warning that they're about to use a rush attack. So it does kind of telegraph their attack, so you stand a chance. And I got a new move here, Dragon Breath, which is really useful if you line it up right, because you just breathe fire all over them and lay the damage into them. There, this guy's about half dead already from it. Stab him good, kick him away, and that'll be him finished with. And now we just have this last guy here. Run at him, slice him down. Oh, there we go. And the enemies can block and parry too, so he just parried out of that. There, and I'm really bad at this game. I forget to block all the time. I'm more a fan of the dodges and all that, but here, we'll swap out to the throwing knives. See if we can't finish this quickly. There we go. And yeah, there's all kinds of combos. Like, there was a flurry stab, and there was another finishing move. And there, my throwing blades leveled up, so they should do more damage now. And let's see, we got one last wave of enemies here. So, what do we got? I'll take the little guy out first. There we go. And stab him good, throw him to the ground. And roll out the way. There we go, let's see if... Running at about a quarter health, but should be able to get this done. There we go, finish him off. And now that just leaves the big guy here in the center of town. Every now and then, I guess the only two major complaints I have with this game is every now and then the camera kind of gets stuck in the scenery and like that. For the most part, it's pretty good. And the pause menu, for some reason, when you hit the button, there's about a 1 or 2 second delay during battles. Like, here it is right now, and alright, so I'll hit the button now, and then the menu pops up, so it's a bit of a delay. So that's really like the only major issue or kind of like bug that I have with this, but it works pretty good otherwise. It runs smoothly, haven't had any major issues, and it's a really solid fighting game. It's pretty sweet. It's single player only, this version, and it's fairly basic. I'd assume most of the battles will, you know, proceed in a similar fashion. But eventually you'll get the new weapons and all that, and there will of course be the new enemies introduced. And with that, the second level is now clear. And before we start into the next one too much, the one I can't beat, I will explain a little bit about what they're doing with their Kickstarter. So what they're doing is they're taking this game and kind of polishing it up, adding some new stuff to it. They have a co-op mode coming out, which I think would be really cool for this game if they can get it up and running and working well, as well as a PvP mode so you can go versus against each other, and something called Dark Mode. I'm not sure what it is, but it sounds pretty cool and epic, and like you'll get to be some sort of overpowered monster. So I'm always down for that. And they're adding more customization to it, so it looked like changes to like your player character model. I don't know if it'll include more weapons as well or not, but it looks pretty sweet, and it's coming out on PC, and they just hit the Wii U and Vita stretch goals, and they're shooting for the other next-gen consoles now. So definitely check out their Kickstarter page too. It's Strength of the Sword Ultimate is what it's called. And it looks like this, except more awesome and more content and updated, and that looks pretty sweet. Alright, so let's see if we can't wrap up this video by finally beating the Dark Knight here before I go. This is kind of, as far as I can tell, it seems like the first like major boss character, because the other ones is kind of like goblins and enemies and stuff like this. But yeah, this dude looks pretty intense and serious. He's got 2 swords and 2 health bars, and yeah, here it teaches you about the dash attacks. So kind of like he does there, you can sprint at him and then jump and do a major slash, and the further you're running from, the more damage it does actually, so it's distance based. There we go, roll out of the way there. And this is actually going surprisingly well. Normally this goes much worse for me. charge up a bit of mana, roll out the way. And I guess one other thing is, while the R button is mainly your dash button, you can also do it if you like flick the joystick, which every now and then, if you're going one way and then the other, will cause random unwanted dashes. But for the most part, it's not too glaring an issue. And see if we can get that first bar of life down. Oh, so close. One last hit. There we go, the jump attack. And now, this should be about the part where he flies into the air and summons... Oh, or I can just get wrecked. Usually right about now he summons some... Oh, come on. This is not working for me. Just want to hit him with the fire. There we go. Yeah, now he'll fly up in the air and he summons his little goblin dudes to come and beat you up. So now you gotta kind of take care of these before you can get back to the fight. Hit him with a quick thrust attack. Run out the way. And so yeah, it's kind of cool how you get these little like multi-tiered, multi-stage fights and all that. And all the camera angles, they look pretty confusing and jump around at the start a lot at first, but you get used to it, and it really just, it makes the game look like that much more awesome. It's kind of part of the charm of this thing. So yeah, there, it's telling me to block because obviously I am taking a crap ton of damage. So it kind of does these little tooltips if it knows you're getting destroyed. It's like, oh, try this and you might not die as much. So it's handy. Oh, there we go. So yeah, you can roll. Alright, so here we go. I'm gonna... Yeah, so it's telling me right there, if you mash the button, then you can recover quickly from big hits. Except for that one, where I have now rolled over and died. But yeah, that's basically the gist of the game, is it gives you all of the controls and moves right off the bat, and then it just says go at it, and throws you at wave after wave of enemy through the story mode. It's a really fun game. The updates they're adding to the Ultimate Edition look pretty sweet. They've got about a week left on their Kickstarter page, so be sure to check that out too. Support it if it's something you want. They got, you know, anything from $1 donations, which will get you a thank you, to $500, where you can play a part in, you know, creating the game. They've got digital copies of it for the 3 confirmed platforms so far, and they've even got a physical copy of it for around $30. You can get posters and t-shirts too, and you can help them hit some of their stretch goals and make this pretty neat game. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I've been loving it so far, and it's just made by a little indie studio of 2 guys, and I think they've done a really great job with it here, so definitely be sure to check that out. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know down below in the comments, like the video, and if you want to stay up to date on any of my other content, be sure to subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.